Hello, I'm Ricardo Corvey and welcome back to the Rainbow Room International podcast channel, and we are with Sam Mcfarlane and it's part 2 of our podcast. If you haven't watched part 1, again, I stress you need to go back, watch it, listen to it, digest it. There's loads of information in there in her journey to opening up with her sister, the Uddingston Salon. That's where we're starting off today. Today's podcast has been sponsored by Mataki Scissors. And I'm an ambassador for the brand, and I've been using them now for about 7 months, and they have been amazing. The fact that they're a British-based company, the fact that we can pick up the phone and work with them, and we can get everything sharpened with them has been absolutely unique. So today's podcast is brought to you with the help of Mataki Scissors. So it's Monday morning.
Yes.
Keys in hand, you're opening the door, and as you said, you've opened it. You and your sister are fully booked, and your third stylist has ended up getting busy that day. Closing the door that night after the first day, how did it feel?
Yeah, it felt magical. Didn't want to close the door. You know, those were the days when you just wanted to stay.
Yeah.
And it was right in the middle of summertime. It was a beautiful day. It was Fair Monday. And we also had the added of having this back door to the salon. It's on 2 levels. We have a basement, and from the salon you had these sort of French doors that go out. I mean, they go out to a fire escape.
Yeah,
it sounds much more bougie, but you know, the sun was sort of blasting down there, and it was fabulous. Yeah. And it just thought, this is going to work.
Yeah. Talk about the space, because it is quite unique. It's really bright and it's really airy, isn't it? It's, you know, glass frontage. You know, and it was the beginning of the next look for Doogie. You know, I'm the sort of tail end of sort of one look, and then the Academy came, and then yourself and East Bride then went on to the sort of next look, especially with the tiling and the way. So even just the space is kind of unique, isn't it?
So we're very lucky, and I say this on the daily, especially in the winter. Mm-hmm. We have no wall at the front. It's floor to ceiling window, only the panels sort of, you know, in between the window, but it's floor to ceiling, just complete glass front. So the daylight just streams through the space, especially in winter. Mm-hmm. You don't feel that same level of darkness, you know, because any daylight that's coming, you're in it. So yeah, it's a lovely big open space. As you say, it was probably around the start of that kind of new look for
yeah, definitely.
And it used to be 2 shops. It used to be like a furniture shop and a bedroom shop, I think. Uh-huh. One at the front and one behind it. And when they opened the space up, they had to put this supporting wall through the middle. So it has a sort of curved wall, which kind of separates both sides of the salon. But yeah, it's a good big space, a nice bright big
so space. With it being on 2 levels, you got like offices and stuff downstairs?
No, I don't have an office.
Right. Do you do any here downstairs? Is that
no,
that's all right? No,
only the staff.
Right, great.
Downstairs is purely stock, staff room, laundry.
Right, got you. And then everything's on the level.
And everything's on the level upstairs, but I'm afraid I've never had the luxury of it.
Oh, that's not fair, especially you being the organised one as well. Maybe that's because you knew you were that organised, you didn't need it.
Prop myself up in a chair somewhere and get on with it.
That's it. Well, I've got an office and I'm completely unorganised, so it doesn't make any difference, does it? I think that what's really interesting for you is the fact that obviously you'd have started in the basement in 15.
Yes.
With no light.
Yes, and that, you know, you just did it at the time. But when I look back, I think, oh my goodness, couldn't do that again. No light, no aircon, and the ceilings were really low, weren't they? And especially,
and then you had the stage lights, and then you had the stage light right at you.
And I actually remember working in there, like, not to get too gross, but you could, on a really hot day, you could feel the sweat trickling down your back. I actually was down this huge space with aircon.
I was trying to explain this to somebody the other day because even the client numbers, so the amount of people that we were doing on a daily basis in those spaces. Now, Buchanan Street was big and airy in comparison, but obviously no aircon. The windows didn't really open. There was nothing ever coming in. But 15 downstairs. Mobbed. It was like a nightclub, that was it. You just couldn't. And of course, you were all dressed to the nines as well, so it wasn't as if you were in like heels, no comfy clothes. Everybody was dressed. Not allowed. But I think I'm the kind of hypocrite that started that, by the way. I think that's technically my fault. But anyway, they were always good. So what an opposite story to end up in the space that you're in. Have you ever noticed it, like, with colour work? That the idea that you get this amount of light coming in?
I moved to George Square in the middle, and it had a lot more natural light, but nothing like the light that we have now. Yeah, your colour work, the light is much more concise. The light's much more natural, so it's great for that. Yeah.
But it's such a unique shape. I think to a certain extent Crow Road gets it as well, and certainly East Kilbride get it. In that they've got the kind of the wall along the side. But the fact that yours are kind of floor to ceiling as well, I think
it's just full glass front.
It's amazing. It is amazing. No mishaps with the glass over the years? Is it all original glass, or?
No, there's been a few mishaps. Because
the chip shop,
the
chip shop boy in me would have that panic, right? Because our windows, we had massive windows in the front of the Coronation. They used to get panned in all the time. And that was always my fear.
So they're so thick. It's supposed to be that. Is it elephant tough glass? It's called. But there have been one or two mishaps with the door, but never with the windows.
No, that's like good. Well, touch a very giant big wooden desk. So as you said in podcast 1, for those that haven't heard it or seen it, you decide that it would be a really great idea to have another kid. Right in your first year of opening up your brand new business.
Like I said, that was a surprise. So I remember feeling really nervous about that. Nervous even with my sister, who I'm so close to. But I thought, oh my goodness, like, this is quite unfair on her. Like, I've just started this. And so I was almost quite nervous to tell her, which is ridiculous, because the minute I told her, she's my sister and we're super close, and she's like, why are you nervous? I'm getting a niece or nephew.
But that's only because you care. You don't want to be burdening your sister. That's not.
My goodness. So it was a wee surprise, to say the least.
But worth telling Alan.
I know. I always wanted to. I never set out to only have one child. Yeah. But the timing was never right, and so I just wasn't thinking about it. Yeah. And I'd put it away to the back of my mind, and it was not on. But
so meant to happen.
Not
a surprise.
The best surprise I've ever had.
Exactly.
And it all worked out. Anyway, Susie was absolutely delighted. She was like, "Don't worry about it. I'm getting a new niece or nephew. This is fabulous. We'll make it work." And I worked right up until probably 37.
Well, this is what I was going to say. Your maternity time was even less probably in your own business than it was when you were in George Square, and you didn't take the mickey when you were in George Square either.
No, I think I took about 9 weeks out when Eva was born. But when I came back, I only come back on a Saturday for a few weeks, and then I come back in 3 days a week. And until she went to school, I worked 3 days a week. Right. Again.
But were you doing paperwork and stuff in the background?
All the business stuff in the background.
Yeah. So it's not as if you're not.
Of course. But it allowed me just to spend a bit of quality time with my daughter as well. So.
But it's a huge chunk of the business that you're actually still. You're not doing the physicality of cutting hair.
No. So I did 3 days of cutting hair, and then just did everything else that I possibly could at home to make that a bit better for Susie. But by that time we had loads more. She was born in the May of the following year, and with loads more staff in, and it was just growing and developing. Yeah.
And had Susie's role with Schwarzkopf kind of exploded by that point, or were you still?
No, I think she was doing work with Schwarzkopf. I couldn't get the dates on that. That would be for her podcast. I have no idea what her dates were that she started doing her ambassador and stuff. Yeah. But she was very, very much the art team.
Of course, that's it. Yeah.
She was very much the art team and very much working with the art team and working in the salon.
Yeah. When did it start to feel like, right, we've got this? Because there's always that level of uncertainty, at the start when you open.
Yeah. Yes and no for us, because we started. What we realised very quickly when we started was we need more people. Mm-hmm. So we started, and we were busy really quickly. Yeah. So we were just growing all the time. So I don't think, again, there was ever a level where we thought, oh, we've made it. But we were constantly growing and developing our team. So there was never a moment of, oh, we need to make it.
Yeah.
You know, it kind of started really quickly, and it was just an organic growth and development from that, and building the team to be big enough to cope with where we wanted to be.
Yeah.
And we were really promoting ourselves within the area, and we're taking all the opportunities that you do, try and get involved in things. And yeah, we were lucky, and we never, you know, it was always just about delivering great hair and a great surface, and it was never really about really crunching numbers or anything like that. It was just about, let's do this to the best of our ability. Let's make this the best experience we can for people, and from that it'll grow. You know, be authentic, be organic, and be creative, and it'll come.
And did you find the community welcoming? Because sometimes it can be a bit funny, like, you know, the Juggernaut brand comes into an area. Did you find that okay when you went to approach other businesses about maybe, you know, tying in with stuff?
No, we've always felt welcomed, and I mean, we've never got fully immersed in our community, you know, but any other brands that we approached would have been brands like-minded, like brands,
similar, of
like
course,
little creative brands and little restaurants and shops that were opening, and there was a lot of Uddingston was developing then. It does have quite a lot of nice little sort of boutique shops and crafty shops and stuff like that. So I've always found it really welcoming, found the clients really welcoming, and
So you're opening,
and we're local, remember?
Well, that was the unique thing. At the end of the day, it's not that you aren't really the brand might be out of town, but you're not.
And we've been away for a long time, but word gets around, you know. And as I say, my mum grew up in that area her whole life. My dad sang, so it was like, you're Bill McGill's girls, or you're Susan Duggan's daughters.
All the real stories start coming out. You start learning more about your parents than you wanted to know. But you guys basically are at the heart of opening up, and the credit crisis is hitting.
Yes.
You know, and obviously that had a dramatic effect on all of our businesses for all of the reasons that it did. What's your recollection of that period of time?
Shoulder to the ground and work harder.
Aye.
Yeah.
That is.
Well, again, it was what it was. You know, we maybe got that first year we're just like, oh, this all looks great, and then it got tougher, didn't it? And everything got a bit more expensive, and it got tougher, and the client numbers were, maybe people weren't visiting quite as often, but we didn't feel people dropping off, just maybe not coming as often.
Exactly.
But we were still doing enough to promote this business and bringing more people in, that we were still getting lots of new people coming. So you just work through it, you know. I suppose you can sit back and get really upset about it, or you can take your shoulder to the ground and just try a bit harder. I
think the thing that came out of that, you know, for myself as well, is the idea that obviously we all had each other within the brand. Like, you know, what was working for you, or what was working for Will, or what was working for David, or whatever, and that was always getting back in. Obviously, Alan and Linda probably tightened the net a wee bit more at that point, where not that they were taking control of a situation, but making sure that we were in control of our situations. And I think that was really good. And we talk about the idea that I remember us all going out to other events and people asking questions about profit and loss and break-evens and all that, and you know, we're all going, well, we've done ours and we're on that. And the fact that was absolutely drummed into us, which, you know, COVID and now where the world's at just now in the cost of living crisis, is that I think that served our businesses and our own business acumen really well, that if we hadn't really went through that, we might not have been as equipped or as strong to get through what we've went through in the last 4 or 5 years. If we hadn't have went through that then, I'd rather not have, you know, but exactly as you say, what was the option? The option was just, well, give up, throw the towel in, or just, as you say, shoulder at the ground and, you know, pick a spade up and get digging and try harder, you know. The other aspect of that is that, you know, you've got such an artistic group and the clients are falling off in visits. Did you see that opportunity of, you know, well, what kind of hair do we now need to create that's going to entice that client to either come back or it's going to last for them?
Not that I can remember.
Yeah.
I'm being really
Yeah,
honest. Not that I can remember, because we never had a massive drop off in clients.
Yeah.
But as I said, that bucket was still being fed.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you could say, if you really dissected it, you could see that people weren't coming quite as often. But we were still building and we were still growing at that point.
Yeah.
So we've just always been looking to trying to be as creative as we can in the salon, and try and just give people that great experience and that make it worth it. I would say in Uddingston we don't micromanage, we don't micromanage our team, but we've created a culture over the years where people know, and the team have created the culture as well. Yeah. Bring your best to the table, or don't show.
Yeah. No, exactly. That's it.
I think, you're working alongside people like Diana.
Yeah.
Susie. I mean, it's a privilege to
walk
the floor with these people daily. Their talents are unmatched, so everybody's striving to be that good.
Yeah, of course. No, that's it. And again, but that's you right back at your 15 day.
Yeah,
you're in that environment where you're looking over and your heads of your art team are there. It was different for me in Buchanan Street, and I'm standing beside juggernaut columns with, you're just like, how much money have you just turned over? How many clients you just done? What was your retail? And obviously I had Joanna and, Tommy and all these kind of guys that were still doing the art team stuff as well. But also you had your Tinas and your Linda Burdettis and your Pams. It was like, show me the money, and you had both of that. So equally, you had to go, all right, I need to do these numbers, because if I'm playing at it. If I'm not anywhere near they were absolute juggernauts. And then the idea that now, kind of, obviously with the focus of Diana and Susie being in the salon, the focus to the art team kind of had shifted from, it went from 15 to George Square to Great Western Road to kind of Uddingston. And as much as, yes, it's still focused in the academy and everything's eventually brought back then, the origin and the organic bits still in your salon.
Oh, the people that are orchestrating it are in the salon.
They're in the building. So the head start of it, a lot of us get to the thing that's at a development stage, and you're going, how's this the development stage? It looks like the finished article to us when it's getting presented to us as sort of other art team members, So that
But they walk it, they talk it, they live it, they breathe it, they talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
Like their passion, and it just never fades.
Yeah.
They're constantly looking at stuff on their phone, they constantly look at this, look at that.
Yeah.
They're always thinking about it, they're always creating, and we're lucky enough now to have other people involved in that as well now. You've got like Archie coming through, but we've got other people in the salon that aren't necessarily in the art team, but they're so into the hair as well. And
of course.
we've got some marvellous hairdressers in Uddingston. In fact, all of them are. I would say right now, we probably have the best team we've ever had.
Yeah.
Really strong team of people, and it is a privilege to work with them.
I know it's. I think that's really interesting when you look back your timeline. I mean, I genuinely now would struggle if a new client would walk into my salon door and go, "Who would you recommend?" I'd actually struggle to choose.
Yeah.
Because you're looking at a specific. I know certain members of the team are passionate about certain aspects of hairdressing. I get that, but are my team going to look after that person to the best ability and wow that client? I don't have an issue with going X, Y, or Z. Before then, it's the passion of that, and that's a cracking place to be in as a salon owner and as a director and as a mentor. That's amazing. Off the back of that, where does training fit in the salon now? Is that a daytime thing, or is it night time? Whenever you can.
Whenever we can.
Because it's changed, because obviously it was
whenever we can. We don't have, it's kind of having this conversation with the assistants the other day, and they were saying they've not long started in the academy, and some of the salons in the academy were saying, some of the girls from other salons were saying that they get a full day training and we were going, wow, because we don't have that kind of place. It's busy, Ricardo. They are training all the time.
Yeah.
Our assistants are used. The utilisation is high. We're lucky.
Yeah.
It's still high. The salon is busy.
Yeah.
It's busy. They're learning for people like Diana, Susie, Emma Jane,
Yeah.
all the time. So they're learning from the best people, but they're learning on the job.
Yeah.
And then they have a training night
Yeah.
with Leah.
Mm-hmm.
But they are learning on the job. We only ever would be maybe in
William,
February.
there's that ice cream van again. He's been flying about here all night. It must be like, you think it would be a bit cold for chalk ices at this time of the year, but he's been driving about like crazy. Anyway, not to worry.
It would maybe be like February or November. Would you get those days that you would have
all that kind
time
of time
to do that? Because we don't have the volume of assistants we used to do. So the ones
there's that too. And at the end of the day, it's been legislated away from us because at the end of the day, it used to be no option. You had to be there, and all the stylists had to stay back. And this is the thing: people are always down on the youth of today and blah blah blah. It's got nothing to do with them. It's just the legislation has taken away your ability to look after them in a certain way, to instill those practices into them as early as they can, and that's not their fault.
No,
that's not their fault. But the problem now is that to try and retrospectively put that into them, they're like, oh no, wait a minute, I'm not meant to be here at this time. But again, that's not their fault, and that's something that we need to deal with. But obviously, you've got that much going on in the salon that if they're not learning by osmosis of almost, if they're not seeing it and listening to it or get involved in it, something's really wrong. If you're standing between yourself, Susie, obviously Archie and Diana, and not getting half of their enthusiasm for what you're doing in yourself, then something's up. Because if you're not getting it in your shop, you're not getting it, and your utilisation numbers are ridiculous.
And the other two people on the floor, Emma Jane and Leah, have came through from being assistants. They've grown up with us. So for me, they are true role models to the assistants coming in. They're super successful, and they came out of school. And Leah came to us when she was 15.
Yeah, that's it. And it's again that whole thing of going, well, if they can do it, so can you, and you'll come through that. The business side of it is obviously sort of super important, but again, you're in that unique setup is that you feel now you take most of the control of that, and Susie's obviously on the floor, but now with her our whole ambassadorship for Schwarzkopf, and our art team commitments as well, she's got that. But where are you at in your hairdressing in that respect? Are you on 3 days just now? Do you still do a full column?
I do a full column 4 days a week.
Yeah,
and I'm busy. I'm a busy stylist, and as is Susie, we're both in 4 days a week, but busy and not taking any time off.
That's not changing anytime soon. And I think that's sometimes the bit that kind of gets lost. And that one of the key elements that was really important to me when we were setting up the podcast was that people understood how much Alan and Linda were into hairdressing. They kind of get known for being these two business people. They're like, no, that's not. These amazing hairdressers that happen to have to learn how to be business people, or one, they were going to lose their business, or not, or two, not let it grow into what it became. And we're all like that. We're all hairdressers first, and then had to learn this other thing to create that. And do you get a chance? Well, you probably don't. Do you get a chance to reinvest your time into that kind of thing, like seminar stuff, be it hairdressing or business? Do you get a chance to do that, or is it just rock face for you these days?
I mean, I suppose I get a chance to do. You can make time to do whatever you want to do, can't you? I mean, I don't get involved with doing any seminar work, but I would catch up with some of the stuff that the guys are doing. But I suppose being like a business person and a stylist on the floor and a parent and trying to be sort of present and everything, I haven't really been involved with anything with the art team or any of the seminar stuff for a long time, but I'm still feel involved because I'm there. where it's all been created.
No, of course.
And I'm amongst it all the
Of course,
time.
he's
so.
definitely trying to sell you an ice cream.
Yeah,
By
yeah.
the way, he's back again. Yeah. Oh no, I totally get that. That's exactly what I mean. And then, where is your motivation from the business side of it? I mean, obviously, hubby's self-employed as well, so that's a unique strain in a household as well. In that, there's breadwinning that's got to be done. Customers have got to be looked after, businesses have got to be looked after, and growing up as a self-employed kid, that has its own challenges as well, sort of from a motivation perspective. But where else do you get your motivation from the business? Is that coming from Alan and Linda and some of the stuff that they do? Do you watch people? Do you look out the way, or do you kind of look in the way all the time?
I think obviously Alan and Linda have been incredible role models to look up to over the years, as are all the other directors. And we're lucky to be part of this brand that we're all trying to grow together. But I think my real motivation and my real enjoyment comes from developing young people and giving young people opportunities and chances. So for me, again, I go back to, like Diana started as a kid in Royal Exchange Square, Emma Jane, Leah, like these are people that have came in from school that you've watched grow and develop, become adults, grow big columns, do all the other stuff, become parents. So for me, watching the young people grow and develop is the massive part that I take from it now, like the Anna in front of house and the assistants, just giving them all opportunities and watching them build their life.
And what's really amazing at that is then you've got to look after the business to give them those opportunities, and
but so do they. They have to look after the business. We're all in it together.
Yeah, no, definitely. But the idea that, so where I'm going with that is I really had to step out the salon and go to loads of external training and motivational thing to get, because I get that lost in it. And I was sitting going, right, well, I'm not where I want to be. It's not where I wanted it to be. What am I not doing that's getting either me or my team or my guys to where I want to be? And again, I look back to Alan and Linda and go, right, well, what were they doing then when they were at their toughest moments that I'm not doing now? And that was, I'm not putting anything, I'm not filling back up my bucket. I'm not, and I'm not doing that. And the issue, what was happening with me was I was losing so many people. So that motivation of going, I want them to grow and that's going to be great. And then, oh bosh, they're gone. I'm like, all right, the next one, And I was like, right, I'm going to need to do something. So I sort of reached out to Schwarzkopf and reached out, kind of went back to kind of stuff with Forest and went to a lot of external training that way. But again, as well, just that responsibility being the salon owner to create this environment for these people is as much a motivation, as you're saying yourself. Moving forward within the business, where do you see it going? Is it about consolidating? Is it about growing? Is it about keeping the standard that it is? Is it about expanding? Where do you and Susie see yourselves with it?
So we're 20 years this year.
Yeah, because it's a mile. 20 is a mile. It's a big milestone.
There'll be big celebrations on that. But I'm always thinking about growing.
Yeah.
Always. Yeah. Because within those 20 years, we have been really lucky. We do have a really successful business, but we've had a few moments.
Yeah.
We had one in particular moment, maybe 5-6 years into the business, where Diana and Chantal were going off to Australia for a year, and they were two big hitters, big contributors to the business. That was absolutely fine, but within the same weekend, there were two other big contributors handed in the notice and left. So within a weekend, we lost half our business, and I remember thinking,
yeah, where's the plan for that?
Don't know how this is going to work out.
That's not in the handbook.
Yes, don't know how this is working. But again, you put your shoulder to the ground and you work harder, don't you? So I think what that has always sort of taught me is just, you're constantly trying to grow. You're constantly trying to have a something or someone else in the background ready to come through, and constantly trying to grow that clientele of the business, because you drop off so much of the time. So I think just keep going, keep creating opportunities, keep doing good hair, keep having fun, keep enjoying doing what we're doing.
So off the back of that, and it's not, do you feel you're a looking forward person as opposed to look back? Are you a reminiscer, or are you very much kind of looking forward all the time?
And I'm looking forward.
Right. So
I feel especially with age comes an ability to just let go of the stuff, especially the stuff that hasn't worked out. If I'm going to look back now, I'm going to look back to the stuff that we've got right, and have learned from the stuff that we've got wrong. So I'm definitely more looking forward than looking back.
So I'm going to contradict that then, because I'm going to ask you for, up to this point, sort of pivotal moments that you've really been allowed to stand back and enjoy, and go either I did that or my sister and I did that. Has there been anything that's really jumped out in the journey of the 20 years of the business?
The journey in the business, I mean, we've had we've been lucky enough to have lots of accolades and awards and stuff like that, haven't we? And
your shelves kind of
it's
creaking. It's creaking with the silver ladies in it.
Well,
There's
I mean, we're lucky enough to have Susie, I'm beyond proud of my sister, and when I watch what she has achieved, and Diana and Susie with all her BHA awards, and ourselves as a team, all the different awards that we've won, those moments of just watching the team celebrate the recognition. So I suppose those have been quite pivotal moments, but pivotal moments for me they've not been big moments, with soundbursts. They've been moments on a Saturday when you look round and the music's blasting and the chatter is chattering, every seat is full, Anna's trying to juggle clients, get them into different seats. If that's not working, she's dancing to entertain them,
Brilliant.
And the place is buzzing. It's those moments that I think,
I did that. It's like when that assistant comes back and they're on the floor and you hear them doing this killer consultation. Always gets me, because all of a sudden this kid that was scared to say hello to somebody or shake somebody's hand is now having this detailed description of why they're going to do this amazing thing, and then you see the client leaving and they've nailed it, and you just go, I can't believe it. I love it.
Love watching. That is where I get my pleasure now, just watching the team and watching them grow and watch them have their moments. And
that's it, I think, and we're lucky that Congress allows us to put an absolute dot on it, and we're going back to a kind of old school Congress this year. So the year ending 2025 and Congress 26, it's something ridiculous like the 36th Congress or something. It's something, the numbers are mental, but we're going back to a big one, and I'm personally
excited about it.
Very much looking forward to it. William has now found out that he's actually working at it now, so I don't know.
Oh, William, I hope you're prepared.
I hope he's prepared. I don't know. I know. I'll need to. Don't listen to anything Jamie has told you previously of what Congress is like. But even that's still a huge part of what we do, isn't it? It's a massive
part of what we are and who we are, and the team love that coming together and celebrating who we are as a company. And I think the fact that we've kept that going over all this time, that Alan and Linda started this, this dream, this baby. I remember being at some of the first ones, and they're tiny, to what it has become now.
You were at Congress 3, would have been your first one.
Congress 3, wow.
Yeah, because I was at Congress 2, was my first one, and then there was the one before. So were you at... So did you start in Shira Grange, or did you get to go to Irvine for drinks at the Lagoon?
Yes.
So you were in Irvine. We were all outside in the cold during the bake to Alaska. They used to pipe in fireworks that set off the smoke alarms. And we'd all be standing there freezing outside.
It was at Irvine before it was in Shira.
Yeah, so that's we are now unfortunately showing our age and our length of time in the brand. But the likes of Pam, they went to pantomime before it was, before it was Congress, they used to go to the pantomime with the Kings. You're like, I'm glad I missed that. I would have been that bothered with that. So the next kind of question that's always sort of coming through, kind of coming up to wrapping up, is the idea of Sam that's walking into 15 and you've had your interview, you've done your models, Linda's seen you, and what's your advice to that, Sam? What would you be telling her? Having had now this amount of time in the brand and as a successful hairdresser, salon owner, art team member, all these things, what would you be telling her?
Just try it all. Take all the opportunities. Jump in when you're scared, take the leap.
Yeah.
And I would probably do it all again. I mean, through the highs and lows.
Yeah,
I would probably do it all again, but take the leap. I mean, when you're coming out at this stage, and I've got friends for life, and I mean, all the directors obviously were all really good friends. I mean, Yasmin and Coco are like
sisters from another mother.
So I would probably do it all again.
Well, it's that. I mean, people I think that people are starting to get a sense of it, because with every new director coming onto the podcast and the atmosphere and the vibe that's coming out of the podcast, when I describe the business as a dysfunctional, non-related family business, that it kind of at the end of the day it is that, and that has been there for every high we've ever all went through, and obviously the lows, and we'd be all lying to say that we've been sitting there, Alan and Linda's shoes of the 46 years of the brand, and ourselves either hairdressing in the brand for 30 odd years or having businesses for 20 plus, that it's all been high and it's all been easy and stuff, because it's not. It's had the pitfalls and it's all had that, but we've always had somebody within the business to just either just talk to, not necessarily get advice from, know it was going to be okay, or equally get the slap around the ear when we've needed that as well, which I think is unique. And again, I think what's really great for yourself is that, having done that with your sister and that length of time, I think that's super special as well, and to the standard that you guys have done as hairdressers, be that on the salon floor or on print all around the world, and the stylists that are growing up underneath you have obviously been they've been lucky enough to get the opportunity, but they've worked hard to get it as well.
Incredibly hard. They've worked incredibly hard, and business is hard, isn't it? But anything that's worth having in life, it's hard to work for. It's the journey, isn't it? And I think the one thing that we've in Uddingston, and I think the team all feel the same, and certainly Susie and I have always thought it, is that we want to be really good ambassadors for the brand. Your head's held high, and we want to be up there as really good role models. I
think I constantly think that stems back to the fact that it's a brand name, and you're that guy, whether that's you're at another seminar, you're not in the business, even your team going to the academy, it's like, you better look the part.
I always say that to them, you're
representing me. You represent the brand, you're representing me, and God forbid Alan and Linda come over and either don't like what you're doing or don't look like how you look while you're doing it. That can't happen to one of our guys, and they instilled that in us, that we should have been able to leave that floor and go to any bar or any restaurant or any hotel and look the part and sound the part. And again, I always go back to, obviously because I've only ever been in the brand, just lucky to walk in the right door. That's the bit that always gets me, and my responsibility after that is then I need to look after people who I was looked after, and as long as I do that, I've done my job. On that note, that is the end of my job today, and for somebody that said they didn't want to do it and they didn't have anything to talk about, it's been an utterly fascinating time, and we've learned loads, and we'll need to start getting you up singing more now. If it's
So
did that
musical, yes, but the voice definitely skipped.
Yeah, I'm the same. I can break.
Get me on the dance floor
Yeah,
any day of
that's
the week.
fine.
Yeah,
I can break
but
glass.
no singing.
I've got a musical repertoire of 0, but that's it. But Sam, listen, thanks very much.
It's been a pleasure.
It's been great.
Thank you very
You're
much
welcome.
indeed.